Good morning, everybody, my fabulous peeps. How are you? I will give everybody some time for Facebook to let them know that I'm here. And I have a special treat for you today for my favorite group. So if you are here, let me know. Sometimes my Wi-Fi is a little slow, and I just want to make sure that everybody is on. So let's see. Lulu, you're here for some, there you are. I'm bringing Lulu Treveno. Look at that. Isn't that awesome?
I love technology and hate technology.
Yeah, I love when it works, right? Oh my God. So today is day 43 of 100 Days of Self-Love. And today I wanted to talk about confidence and how, you have those days where you're feeling really confident and things are going well. And then you have those days where you're not feeling it so much. So my friend Lulu is all about confidence and helping women to step more into their confidence. So I thought I'd bring her on today. So Lulu, thank you for being here. And would you like to share to my group who you are and what you do, what you offer?
Yeah, thanks, Jacqueline. Hi, I'm Lulu Treveno, and I'm the founder of Live Life with Wonder. I'm a quantum healer, art of feminine presence teacher, and a soulful living coach, and an author and artist. I've always worked with women in circle and one-on-one. And what I've found is that we're often in the level of confidence, we're giving our power away. So when we take our power back, this is where confidence really lives, back with ourselves. So I know we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but I have books, and I have an oracle card deck, and I work one-on-one with women with quantum healing and also coaching. So that's who I am.
Yeah, you mentioned a big point, our power. And I don't know if it's really talked about in the world, how much women or, people in general can be really afraid to step into their power and to be fully who they are. So why do you think that is?
I think for women specifically, from a young age, we've been kind of programmed, to step in line, maybe even step behind men in some ways. I know it's changed over the last 50 years, but prior to that, it was very much that's the way society ran. Men in the lead, women behind. And power always, for women, often seemed like too much. We didn't kind of know where power sat. We didn't want it to look like men, but we also didn't quite know how much power we have. I recently was talking to one of my mentors, and she said, we live on a feminine world. And I was like, what do you mean? Mother Earth, she is feminine. So there's this huge body of the world we live on. And when we tap into our own feminine, connect to the earth, we actually understand that power is self generated, and it's not about force at all. There's a beautiful book about power versus force, and it's not about comparison. So that's what I talk about in confidence. If you're thinking about comparing yourself with anyone else, you've already stepped out of the confidence arena. So comparison is not confidence. The only time we can have our true confidence is when we're really turning in towards ourselves, and not even comparing ourselves to who we used to be or who we were last week, or when we were successful at this or when we weren't successful at that. So this comparison and confidence, this is one of the areas I work with women is we have to drop the comparison. And once we drop the comparison, we actually take up our own power.
Yeah. Comparison, judgment, jealousy, all of that. It really hinders us in so many ways. And I think as a society, it happens all the time, all the time. But I love that. I wasn't even thinking that, yes, we are on Mother Earth and she is feminine. Oh my gosh. Hello.
Mind shift, isn't it?
Yes. Let's just tap into that.
Yeah, we all know that. But when my mentor said that, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. Like I realized it, but I didn't realize the power of that. So
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think being feminine has gotten such a bad rap over the years. You know, there's so many ways to be feminine, and I don't know why. Do you feel that it's gotten a bad rap, and that I don't know. I feel like it's wrong. I feel like I've grown up in a society where it's kind of been wrong to be feminine and to allow the feminine, sensitive, sensual side to come through. It's gotten a bad rap. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I can see that that's played out a lot in our society. You know, a woman in her full power, her full emotion, her full sensuality and sexuality. Wow, that's pretty, you know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I can see how society wants to dampen that down.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I'll come back to this comparison thing, you know, like we don't want to compare ourselves with anyone else, and we don't want to compare what society thinks is feminine.
Yeah.
Because what's feminine for you and what's feminine for me is really, truly important to us. So I like to talk more about embodiment
Mm-hmm.
and alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel what's happening for you. So yeah, the practices I do with women, the embodiment practices are very important. A lot of us have for a long time lived outside our body, or we've lived a lot in our head, or we've lived our heart, you know, forward as pulling us forward, and you know, forgetting about the rest. So truly embodying all of ourselves, our emotions, our sensitivities, our sensuality, all of that is the work of being feminine, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And it always comes back to our power. I work with a lot of women who have been wounded and traumatized whenever usually it starts as a young child, anytime that they've stepped out and were trying to express who they are, they were taught it wasn't right to be quiet. You're too much. Do this. So they've had to be to just be who they are because they're living in that persona. Um, so yeah, it's always, and I think of Sophia Loren, you know, like she embodies femininity and standing in your power. And she does it in such an amazing, loving way, you know, and fun. And that's beautiful to see. So what are some suggestions to help women feel more confident and own more of their power?
Yeah, I liked how you said about, you know, as young girls and, you know, expressing ourselves. So our voice is very important. As you know, we've been in this beautiful book, Find Your Voice, recently, Save Your Life, that, you know, when we get suppressed in our voice, somehow enter. So I like to tell women, besides the non-comparison, don't have any comparisons, I like to suggest to them to really truly listen to themselves, both their inner voice and their outer voice. So the skill of listening to yourself when you say, oh, I can't do that, or internally you're saying, oh, there I go again. You know, any of these little ways that we are talking to ourselves or expressing ourselves outwardly is an important way to change that. And it doesn't happen overnight. That's you know, for some of us, mindful of what am I telling myself? Then what am I expressing outside? This is one of the very key things I help women to look at. And you may start that with journaling. You may start that with, oh, yesterday when, you know, my friend mentioned such and such, I felt that, and I heard myself say, oh yeah, there you go again. You've always done that, you know, that way or whatever. So that mindfulness practice comes in the listening, and then maybe writing it out. So then when you read it, you can see that. I just did a 3-day free online course about writing to heal. And when you actually write something and you see it outside of yourself, you get this spaciousness, and you then can view it. So this is part of our own personal work, is, you know, really seeing where the patterns have been laid down and how we can loosen them and unravel those.
Yeah. And it can be so subtle when we leave our bodies, right? And I tell my clients too, the first step is awareness, because we don't even realize it. We're leaving our bodies. We don't want to feel, because we're preparing ourselves to be hurt or wounded. So we immediately go into our head and think our life from that space. So first we have to even be aware that we're doing it. And then, yeah, to get down into the body and feel and know that it's safe to feel the feelings that we're feeling, and start trusting them, whether they're good or bad, just awareness of what we're feeling. So yeah, and I love your whole mindfulness. Journaling is amazing to help us move that energy out of the body, and then look back and see, well, what's the underlying theme that keeps coming through? And do I want to stay in that, or do I want to move out of that? So those are great suggestions. Thank you for those.
And so the second one I'd like to share is the breath. So, you know, I do have a background in yoga. I'm a yoga teacher for numerous years, 15 odd years. And the breath, we aren't even aware when we hold our breath, and we're often holding our breath. So when we bring, once again, the mindfulness to the breath, we then have more life force coming through our body. So being aware of the breath, doing any breathwork practices. I've done a lot of, you know, rebirthing and breathwork, and, you know, some of them are very cathartic. Your body can actually release toxins when you do quite an intense breathwork session. But for the first step is actually being aware, oh, am I holding my breath now? I feel anxious. Oh, I'm holding my breath. A lot of women hold their breath when they're in a sexual environment. You know, they can be coming close to climaxing and they're constricting. If you breathe through that, it's a totally different experience. So the breath is life. So when we connect with our breath, we give our whole system life, and then other possibilities arise from that.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Breathing is so important. And again, we don't realize when we're holding that breath. You're so right on that. Yeah. And so if anybody's listening, if this resonates with anybody, let us know and what your thoughts are. And if you have any questions for Lulu, please leave them in the comments below. Anything else, Lulu? So I guess it's important also, because sometimes we're just not aware. How do we know what are some signs that we're not living in confidence, that we're not standing in our power? Because sometimes we think we are. I know there was a time when I thought, oh, I'm good, I'm meditating, I'm, you know, doing my yoga, I'm drinking my water, I'm doing everything, but still my life fell apart. And I wasn't even aware that these things, that I needed healing and that I needed work to heal. So
Mhm.
what are some signs that you've seen that lets a woman know that there might be some healing work to do?
Oh, that's a really big question. As you were talking, what came to my thoughts was doing mirror work. We often look in the mirror to put on our mask. And so when we look in the mirror and just see ourselves, do we like ourselves? Do we love ourselves? That's this is quite deep work, the mirror work. I think, I'm not sure if Louise Hay created it, but it's been around a while. So when you gaze in the mirror with no makeup on and look at yourself, you will hear that internal voice kick in straight away.
Mm.
So that's what came to mind when you asked that question. And I think that is a really big question. We do need to do healing work of our past, because our past is our foundation. And if we see a pattern repeating itself, oh yes, that happened when I was in that job, the pattern looked like that. Oh, that happened in that relationship with my best friend. Oh, in my intimate relationship. Oh, and if we can connect those patterns, that's a pretty good sign that, oh, we need to do some healing work around that. And not standing in, I'm wrong, I've done wrong,
Right.
anything like, this is where this started. Wow, I see that now. So when you see it, then is where the path leads you. When you don't see it, you're still in the, the pattern or the drama or the, the, what's been always. And a lot of people actually, there are people that are never going to see some stuff, and that's just how it is. But when you see it, that's your first prompt. And to have a really good community is always very important, to work with very high qualified people that have actually walked their path. I'm always for, okay, so what's their story? I want to know their story too. So yeah, the healing journey, and it's not this straight line. It's this constant movement up, down. It's in a spiral state, and it's worth doing. I want to tell every woman, worth doing. You are worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And all the moms out there, you are so worthy of doing the work, because the ripple effect is amazing, and the magical life that you can live is absolutely amazing. But I want to talk about when you said, when you have that awareness, I say to my clients, there's no way you cannot see it anymore. Once you see it, once you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh. Because even I do a lot of ancestral energy clearing, and when you see that pattern and where it started, and then you see yourself doing it, you can't unsee it. It's really, really cool. And the gift is that you have a choice. You can absolutely shift into a new energy, shift into a new pattern, and really change your life and make it magical. So yeah, fabulous. Okay, so any other messages you have for the group here?
Yeah. Can I show you my book?
Of course.
So this is the cover of my beautiful book. So
beautiful.
This picture, I find women are very sensory, feeling orientated. We can evoke something through images, words, music, nature. So really, in your own day-to-day life, add something in your life that is self-nurturing. It doesn't need to look like that for your children, your partner. What do you feel nurtured by? And invite that in. So invite looking at beautiful artwork, invite that in by touching beautiful silks or fabrics, whatever makes you feel that expression of beauty. And this is taking it away from how society sees beauty, coming back to, once again, yourself. You feel it. You know, we can actually even have our eyes closed and we can still have that feeling. So bring something each day into your life that gives you that sense of beauty and the feeling for yourself.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and the more we invoke that feeling inside of us, the more we'll be attracting it. So, Lulu, thank you so much for being with us today. Please share in the group how people can get a hold of you and how they can get a hold of your beautiful book. So thank you for all these words of wisdom.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.